Hello again, chaps and chapettes. How are we all doing? It is lovely to see you all again. As always, something different today, guys. We're going to veer off the usual conversations we have on this channel about how grim and depressing it is living in the UK at the minute. And we're going to have an open, frank discussion about booze, about alcohol. Now, what spurred me on initially to make this video was a conversation I had with a chap over on X day before yesterday. Complete stranger, no idea why he approached me about this. He just comes to me in the replies of a separate tweet and starts banging on to me about his struggles with booze that he's been having ever since the start of COVID lockdown. Being stuck in his house for almost 2 years, not being able to go out very much, not being able to see his mates and his family, and he struggled with it. He spiraled into a fit of depression and just started trying to drink his sorrows and woes away. And I started sharing with him snippets of my journey through my battles with the alcohol demons, I suppose you could say. And I thought I'd share them with you on the just in case basis that one of my subscribers, even just one, is struggling with booze or needs some information or some reassurance or whatever. Even if it just helps one person, at least it's out there and it's done some good at least. Now, I'll start with my early journey since all this started. I was about 14 years old. I went to the pub with my best mate at the time and his older brother. Obviously he was over 18, so he went to the bar and got us all a drink. I assumed, because I was like 14 years old at the time, I was just going to get a shandy or something, but no, he came back with 3 pints of John Smith's. Even after all these years, I'm 40 now, 14 here, I can still remember that very first taste of that hoppy, beery sort of flavour, and I fell in love with it, and that was it. I was hooked just there and then. I must just have an addictive personality, I'm not too sure, because ever since then it's been constant. Every single time I've got a bit of money in my pocket and I get some beer in the house, it's the same old story, even after all these years. Now, it started off was going up to my best mate's house every Saturday, because obviously no school, and we were still on paper rounds at 14 years old, so we're saving up our paper round money, going up to my best mate's on Saturday, getting about a 12 pack of Carlsberg every Saturday, and going on from there and drinking them all the way through the day. Then it turned into every Saturday and Sunday. I was turning up to school hungover at like 14, 15 years old. Even the teachers got my parents in, and they just thought it was just, general teenage behaviour, being a bit of rebel sort of thing, going out drinking, shit like that. They didn't know how often I was doing it, particularly at such a young age, like I say. But it stuck with me all the way through my teen years. Got to 18 when I could legally start going out with my mates, trying to pull birds, stuff like that, getting pissed up. Most of my mates were doing it, every teenager was doing it back then, but I was doing it a lot more worse than the rest of my friends. I was getting semi-conscious drunk before I even left the house. I was walking down to town to meet my mates at about 7:30, pissed up, because I was doing it at home, you see. And I carried on drinking and getting into fights and getting arrested and stuff like that. Stupid shit all the way through my teens and all the way through my early 20s. It was the same tale of war. I used to get packs of 18 Strongbow, take them to my house, go upstairs in mum's house and just drink myself into a stupor while playing on the PC. Eventually, I got with my missus now, who's upstairs, who I've been with sort of about 15, 16 years now. And I was still doing the same when I got with her. We moved into our own place, and every single week I was getting about 4 or 5 boxes of 18 packs of Strongbow in, and I was demolishing them in a week, if that. And eventually she came to me and said, look, this cannot go on, because I was a shithouse to her when I was pissed up. Never hit her or anything. I was never abusive in that way, but I was abusive with my mouth. I was verbally abusive. I was not a very nice person around while I was pissed up. And she basically laid it on the line. She said to me, look, because I had a son with her at the time, look, either you knock this on the head, cut it right back, or quit altogether, or you gotta leave. I can't go on like this. I used to make her cry and call her names, and I was a right cunt to her, putting holes in doors and shit like that. Fucking horrible person. And obviously I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to lose my kid, shit like that, the roof over my head. And I agreed to it. This was a couple of years ago now, and I stuck to it. I have a probably a small drink now once a month, if that. And I tell you what, guys, the change in myself and the change in my relationship and the change in the atmosphere in my house is so much better since I knocked it on the head. All this binge drinking, drinking copious amounts of booze every single day, getting smashed out of my head, segregating myself away from my family, not wanting anything to do with my kids and shit like that. All I could bother about was booze, when the next drink was coming, when the next pay was coming, etc., etc. But since I've knocked it all on the head, and I'm not going to tell you it's been easy, it's been very difficult. I used to get, I don't really get them anymore. I used to sweat profusely. I used to get shakes. I used to constantly have beer on the mind, incessantly, from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. I was thinking, fuck, when can I have a drink again? When can I do this? When can I do that? Getting shakes. It was obsessive. It was a fucking horrible existence. It took months to get over that. But now I've got over that hump. I do still occasionally get the cravings, etc., etc., but they pass. They last about 10 minutes and then that's it. They're gone. Like I say, I do still have a small drink once a month, if that. I'm having a beer right now. It's about 12:30. I'm recording this over night time. I said to myself, right, I'll have one can of Stella and I'm going to go to bed. And the difference in having one and being able to stop is a wonderful feeling, guys, particularly after the sort of life I've led for over 20 odd years. When you have a drink now, I can taste what it's supposed to taste like. When I have a can of beer, it tastes how it's supposed to taste. It's refreshing, it's crisp, it's enjoyable. When I used to have a drink, I couldn't taste it. I used to drink Strongbow an awful lot. And it never tasted of apples, it never tasted of cider to me. All it used to taste of was just fizz and just pure alcohol. I just used to drink it simply to get pissed. That was it. I didn't do it to enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. It was fucking horrible. But I couldn't stop myself doing it because obviously I was addicted. But yeah, it's been a couple of years now. Very seldom drink anymore. My health's improved. My overall fitness has improved. My skin's improved. My breathing's improved amazingly. I don't know how that's happened. I've lost some weight. You just feel a million times better once you do knock it on the head. Luckily, I didn't have to go into like a rehab or go to AA meetings. I was ashamed, basically, guys. I didn't want to go into a room full of strangers, stand up and say, hello, I'm Daniel, I'm an alcoholic, like you do see on the movies. I didn't want any of that. I thought, fuck this. I'm not going to lose my missus. I'm not going to lose my kids. I'm going to white knuckle it, cold turkey it, and do it myself. And thankfully, I've managed to come out of the other side of this. But yeah, basically, guys, that's about it. In a nutshell, there's a lot more in there somewhere, but I didn't want to keep you. I could have been sat here for 45 minutes just chuntering onto you, but that's ridiculous. So, my parting thought, my parting question really, guys. Have you ever had your battles with alcohol? How did you deal with yours? Are you going through something similar at the minute? And what constitutes an alcoholic to you? Would you say I was one for being a binge drinker? Or would you say it's someone who can't function without alcohol? They drink as soon as they wake up, no matter if they've been sick during the night, they're there necking wine or necking spirits. I wasn't like that. I could function all day and get pissed at night time. I didn't need to get drunk as soon as I woke up. But then again, I suppose medically I was classed as an alcoholic. If I went to the doctors or the nurses about my condition or my complaints, they would class me as an alcoholic and they would try to sign me up for some sort of, rehab program. And like I say, I didn't want that. But I just want your opinion, guys. What constitutes an alcoholic to you? Do let me know in the comments, guys. I know this video isn't going to be for everybody. If you want to skip this on, then yeah, fair enough. You skip it on. But for the people who had found this informative and maybe, inspirational in some way, that if I can do it, then you can do it, then yeah, so be it. It's done its job. That's me sorted. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, if you've made it this far. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.